What's wrong with the PDP? Every one of us knows what's wrong with the PDP. The truth is, we belong to all sorts of factions, groups. We have all sorts of godfathers. We have all sorts of facilitators, camps, and what have you. And unfortunately, you use that as if it is your springboard to getting somewhere within or on the party's platform. The truth is that we all have ambition. We should be something, we should get somewhere, we want to be this, we want to be that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can aspire for anything. Unfortunately, the framework that will facilitate that ambition has been so messed up. If I'm to say, even from day one, and we're only feeling the effect of the success. After 16 years, we couldn't manage the success. We started killing and fighting ourselves. That fight, now you're feeling the effect. As of 2015, the PDP members did not give a damn. I'm sorry to say, forgive my language, whether PDP won that election or not. Because the activities from the 2011 through 2015 showed that the leadership at that point in time was so confused, misdirected, that the fundamentals of power and leadership and governance were so abused that it resulted to mismanagement. People walked away. I stand to be corrected. 2015, Buhari did not win any 2 million votes, by any 2 million votes of the APC. He won by PDP's protest votes. PDP's protest votes. As of the time the elections were postponed by 6 weeks after the speech in Chatham House by the then NSA, the APC was broke, they were confused, their leaders ran to London for about 3 weeks, if you recall. They were not in town. They did not know what to do. Because the elections were to be held and they were lifted by 6 weeks. And you know how it is, we prepare for an election, release your money and your resources, and then there's a postponement, you're finished. My own state, what were the elections, the actual elections results in 2015? 300,000-400,000 votes that they won. By the very next day, it was 960,000 votes. So go to Yobe, go to 3 or 4 states, those 2 million votes appeared. In states that were not even expected. But how did we get to this problem? As I say, we couldn't manage success. When the PDP came, I've heard people alluring to the Constitution. The truth, the PDP Constitution was the same Constitution being run by then the APP, the same Constitution that was being, in essence, being run by the AD. And you ask me why. Late Sage Awolowo was an expert in power politics and power dynamics. From the action group time to date, he makes sure that he's both the presidential candidate as well as the leader of the party. And nobody should be able to challenge him. And anybody he had problems with, if you notice, could not succeed because of the strength of that constitution and how he applied it. Those framers of those constitutions under Awolowo at that time were the leaders through the Nadeko periods, during Abacha's time, Babangida's time, Abacha's time, that brought us through, that General Absalam welcomed us. So you guys go and organize yourselves, we'll be here only for 8 months. There was a national consensus. All the grouping from the southwest, the southeast, the north, and north central came together under the banner of the PDP to set up a party, a national party. There were 2 meetings here in Abuja, if you recall. While that meeting was on already, because of personal interests and ambitions, some people were saying, no, they can't get to where they want. They now broke out of the PDP and moved to the APP. In moving to APP, they went and met the APP struggling, which was essentially a northern dominant kind of party. They were there scribbling a constitution in place. They said, don't worry, we'll do it for you. The same principles, the parameters, the framework of that constitution of the PDP, they took over and wrote the APP constitution. While that was on, Falai said, look, I'm going to run for presidency. Saraki, I'm going to run for presidency. They said, well, there's going to be a problem here. We won't have the control we want. They jumped and moved to AD and went and wrote that constitution again there. And the point I'm trying to make here, once you stand by that constitution, they are so strong that if it's not a miracle of God, you can never remove a chairman or a leadership of the party. So when you have poor leadership in charge of your party, you are practically done for. So, but what did the PDP do? The group of leaders in 1998 came together and said, each zone, go and bring out your leadership. The only weak leadership at that time structures were in the southeast. General Gusau was in charge of the northwest. Waziri Atiku was in charge of the northeast. Solomon La and Co were in charge of the north central. Obasanjo was in charge of the southwest, and he pivoted into the southeast, and the south-south was Tony Aneni. They went back to their zones and called meetings. From each of the states, the leadership and came together. We've set up a party, we want structures. Go back to your states, bring out the appropriate kind of people. That means people are qualified, who can be sold, who can win elections. So by the time the waterfall went down, there was some kind of an inclusive strategy for people to come out and say PDP is the national party. And we moved on. People who were probably, at that time there wasn't much money. Structures were very weak. So individuals who didn't have confidence that the Absalam experiment was going to work, so many of them stepped back. So a few people got into opportunity. Some of us did the Abacha experiment. We already had that momentum and we moved into the PDP. I won elections in the House of Reps during Abacha's time. I won in the House of Reps in 1999. Out of sympathy, because the people that you're campaigning to, it's not just always money, money, money. They have sympathy and they are also sensible. If you see somebody manipulate a group of people, it's because they want to be manipulated. But they are a lot smarter than you think. So moving on, we had a kind of representation. PDP took off. Obasanjo was an extremely strong leader. He said, this is the constitution, this is discipline, this is how the caucus will go. He applied his powers at times, and he had Saboteurs, Solomon La, brought in Gamadi, but there was a way of succession. If I remove you from Enugu State, I'll bring somebody from Enugu State to replace you, so that there will be no problems. You can't say, oh, we've been shortchanged. Moving forward, 2023, the birth of the so-called national list, or what do they call it? Unity list. That was one of the starting of the problems the PDP started. But because we were overly strong, with hardly much in terms of opposition, and we, in 2003, crushed the whole of the Southwest, less Lagos. All those things were just overlooked and said, oh, there's a unity list. That was practiced twice. And that started eroding the basis and the fundamentals of having a national party that was inclusive. Fast forward, we went into all sorts of issues. Third term and that so-called debacle. That was a problem for the PDP. We got over it. In a very short time, as a member of the Senate at that time, it was shut down. When it was shut down, Obasanjo was in France. He was taken aback. His two close operatives called him and said, look, who is going to tell him that this has happened in the National Assembly? He flew back as a general, said, we have a problem, let's deal with it. Who is going to be the next president? Who will we nominate? Obviously, he had the prerogative to decide who. He decided on Eradua and for campaign. Some people were promoting Peter Odili, and Peter Odili had reached out. Unfortunately, they say, no, this is where it's going. Peter Odili was ready to accept being the vice president. Unfortunately, it didn't go his way. So these kind of things, we have already sowed the seed of confusion all along. Not because you have money, not because you have power, not because you are running the party on behalf of others. The people who will take the decision in the green rooms will take it irrespective of whatever you have done. But as again, I say that is part of the risk of being in politics. Even if you don't get what you're looking for now, the sympathy that will carry you through, down the future, you'll find it. And I believe that happens. But by the time Eradua came and passed, I was part of his government. Goodluck took over, I was part of that government. But things started falling out of way. I left that government in 2011 as a minister, and I stood back. My own concern was that, look, I've been in this public domain for 12 years. I hear things. Is he the only one from Borno? Some people will say, oh, no, go and do this, go and do this. You have to come back as a minister. I said, well, if the president doesn't know me well enough to want me, after working with him from 2007, to come back again and serve the purpose of his government, or the essence of his government, or his program, or his vision in 2011, I said, so be it, with no regrets. As I stand here like this, I probably eat more food now than I used to eat as a minister. I probably look even better than when I'm much older now, but even as a minister. I have my, I have my freedom. In putting back, I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. So be it. I'm not aspiring to run for office. But when people are aspiring, I'll be there to help them. But it hurts us to see that there are opportunities for us to make changes and we kill ourselves by ourselves. As I said, everybody knows what is wrong with the party. But somebody belongs to this camp, somebody belongs to that group, some belongs to this team. Unfortunately, you can never reconcile the agenda, and the narrative continues to be anti-progress and anti-success for the PDP. Whether it's problems at the Board of Trustees, whether the problem of the Working Committee, whether it's a problem of the larger neck. So as long as we cannot be truthful to ourselves, and we're going to stand on indiscipline, I don't want to use that big word, corruption, mismanagement, abuse, what kind of politics will you do? And if you have my kind of attitude, I'll say, well, to hell. I'm not aspiring for anything. PDP made me, gave me opportunities. House of Rep, Senator, Minister, Board of Trustees. I don't think there's any other party in this country that will ever give me those opportunities again. So I stand before you, this is on a personal point. The day I leave PDP, I've stopped politics. Because I said there is no party that will give me what PDP has not already given me. They gave me a platform, they gave me a name. And they can give everybody who is aspiring in the right direction the same opportunities. Unfortunately, some people want to manipulate one thing or another, and to what extent? We stand now today where leaders of the party are at loggerheads. Why? In holding high office, and you're at loggerheads, when everybody knows that you sit on the table and see how. But because nobody is sincere, people make cold calculations. How is 2027 going to emerge? We know people who are working to destroy the party so that the so-called, well, I won't say the party in government will have a walk in the park. That is their agenda. And once that happens, they will walk across and say, I've come to APP, I've done my own. And they start aspiring for what they think they can't get in the PDP towards 3031. That's just what it is. Simple, nonsensical calculations, as if they don't know the Almighty is there. So as a PDP, as a party, as I said, internal democracy, I align totally with it. But then there's a reality here. You don't express sentiments in politics and think it can work. Because somebody will just tell you, oh boy, it's all about interest. Yes, but it should be guided interest. If you express sentiments, it doesn't go anywhere. Because those who are to take decisions on these issues that they are going to put on the table are coming from various camps. This governor is going to take, okay, they've zoned the offices to 3 or 4 or 5 different places, the key offices they're interested in: chairman, secretary, organizing committee, director of organization operations, and to some lesser extent, maybe legal advisor. All the others. How can you have almost, 40 or 50 offices, and you expect somebody was given assistant deputy auditor from Calabar, and I'm in Borno with my people and will know even his name, let alone vote for him? We don't know who he is. Once they do chairman, secretary, and we say, okay, what else? Oh, there's an internal list that has been negotiated. These are going to be your leaders. There's a unity list that has been negotiated. And we'll come and fool ourselves in the Eagle Square that we're having a convention, and so on and so forth. These are where the problems are. So even if you are as strong as honorable, she can come and say whatever she wants to say. Those people are sitting there, this woman is not with us. So even if she stands outside that house with loudspeaker and say whatever she wants and talks of her 35,000 votes, they will not care about it. If you give them an opportunity, they can't go and bring 500 votes in their own constituency. So these are some of the fundamental issues that we have to address in the party. And you can see it. I know practically all the senior members of this party, since I've been in it from day one. Many of the people came and joined us. Those who are now playing God were nowhere. When I was promoting Odili to be vice president, where were they? In Rivers State. In the Rivers Lodge here, when they refused to give us vice president at that time, all the whole place was full of people. There was a chair for 2 people. I came here, I looked around, I sat on it. Odili came and sat by me. People were crying. 11 o'clock in the morning. Why didn't they announce good luck? Why didn't they announce Odili? But there's always faith. The same man that they came and announced, I ended up working with him, and him promoting me, and us moving up. That's how politics should be. It always should be a win-win situation. It's not that I've lost today and that's the end of it. This game we're in, you can never lose. Even if you think you have failed today, you will never lose on the long run. You know where you entered, you don't know where you'll end up coming out. So people too, as I say, when you apply sentiments, you tend to lose the whole essence of this game that we're in. But today we're challenged with larger and bigger problems, because we are in opposition, and then we are now in disarray. And for the government in power, the more the crisis, the better for them. They will fund it, they will promote it, so that all the efforts is like they're swimming upstream. After a while, you get tired, we get rid of them. I saw a cartoon today. Somebody holding a dog, about 4 or 5 dogs. Yeah? But so the dogs were representative of institutions. And you have people who believe in destroying institutions. So we can't just wish that away. These are things that we're going to confront. But can we confront it with one arm, the back, or on one leg? No. What's the easiest thing for us to do is to come together, sit together, agree to work together, and go out to the field together. But some people are feeling if I have access to money, before I put it on the table, what am I negotiating for? What is it that I want? How am I going to get it? So when you go your party list from your state for what they call the ward congresses and so on, they change the list in the headquarters. What you did in Kogi and you come and see in Abuja will be totally different. How do you expect? Somebody called me from Kogi. Can I talk to somebody? I said, look, I cannot talk to them because they are not listening to anybody. Forget that I'm a board of trustees. Even when they're organizing the last set of, what do you call it, congresses. As a member of BOT, we were not aware. I was not consulted. They went and did it and finished in my state. I said, I accept it. Because that's the direction you want to go.
Norm for that political party. I am not going to talk about Nigeria because your house cannot be on fire and you are chasing rats. When it comes to PDP, PDP has a constitution. How many times has that constitution been thrown into abyss? How many times has it been thrown into dungeon in order to support one godfather or leader or the other to implement whatever he or she wants? Like I said, I am Rita Oji, an Igbo woman, and I won election twice in Nigeria, fellow the Lagos State. And I want to tell you the gist. When PDP came, the principle, all of us were talking about the principles, what our founding fathers. Our founding fathers did not just speak. There is a document they left for us, and that is the Constitution. And that thing they did was, for instance, when we came to Lagos, then AD was strong. They don't burn you to hang a PDP flag in Lagos State. If you dare, your house will go down. Then, myself, some leadership, Sarumi and others. If you have a value, I mean if you have your own house, you might be able to do that. But if you're a tenant, you cannot. We started raising the party. And that founding fathers process then is that wherever you are strong, you should be allowed to come out there. And then what we did was when we come to various local governments, we look at the strength of the ethnic groups. That is the philosophy. And at the end, we were able to do it. And that was the system that triggered. We got 4 councillors. Even when PDP said we shouldn't go for election, I went into that election. I had 4 councillors in Nigeria fellow for the first time. Under AD and PDP. We won. Before I came out to even contest for House of Rep, which I won by the grace of God. So I'm trying to say, any political party that does not have a principle, that has no philosophy, that does not respect the rule he put up by itself, have not started. I'm not talking about funding. Whatever that is in that constitution, even reflect that members pay so amount. Because that document has been thrown away as if it does not exist. You cannot have internal peace when there is no rule of law. It is only law that makes everybody equal. Then, for Lagos, precisely, the moderator said something. I was laughing. If you did not discover something, you would die for nothing. I think PDP has failed to discover something, and that is why we are dying on a daily basis. And anybody that keeps dreaming without action will die a joker. If it is not the convener, nobody will call me for anything PDP, I will answer again. I am proud to say that I held PDP from 1999 to date. I've never decamped for once. But what happened last election? After winning the primary, my result was changed in Wadata. I won the primary and I demanded that another one should be done. If you are not comfortable with the other one, take us to another place. I won again. But what happened? They changed it. During publication, they published another person's name because he's a money bag that just came within 6 months. And the party, without their constitution, were bold enough to give 4 people nomination forms. I said we should go to court and drag it. I'm telling you. And we fought, we got to, in fact, the case was in Supreme Court on the eve of the election. Every document they needed, I presented it, I was able to win till Supreme Court. But what did they do? They looked at it again and said, you belong to this faction, you belong. They took the money for election and gave it to the person that is not the candidate. He went away with it and decamped on the eve of the election. And I said, it wasn't a secret. Everybody in National Working Committee is aware of what I'm saying. It wasn't a secret. So why then do somebody think you have internal democracy if the head is rotten, the body is gone gaga? And if anybody is talking about democracy without obeying the law, the person is joking. For me, I said I don't even have time because my times are so precious for me to talk about PDP anymore. I started talking about PDP since 1999 till date. But you find out that those people that decamp, they use tambourine and welcome them, singing their praises. Maybe when I decamp this time, they will come and value me. And as I'm talking to you, you see, when anybody is trying to say we want democracy, for me as a lawyer, what I believe that the existence of democracy is a vague thing without the ground norm. It is the norm that pilots whatever you are going to do. PDP has constitution. We keep amending, and yet is there. How many times has certain actions been taken with cognizance to the rule of law as established in the PDP constitution? When you come to buy forms, they will give you constitution. What does that show? It shows that this constitution that is given to you, all your ways will be guided by what is there. But was it done so? It was given to you to collect money. But at the end of the day, when they do, process should be followed, nobody dares. For me, my time is too precious to talk about PDP anymore. Because we are not serious yet with the existence of what is still happening. There is no how we could have lost Lagos. I won election when there is no single God power standing behind me. I won. And I won 2 House of Assembly members. Within the first 6 months, the sitting governor then gave them land, gave them something, Prados. 2 of them decamp and leave me alone. I was the only person that kept holding on to the party until that 4 years finished. Both paying the bills of the party, rent, maintaining the escorts, everything. Nobody. I did that, and at the end of the day, by the time they will appreciate me, they see somebody else that come with money, that is buying motor for them, that before you know it, they scatter the whole thing. And then the people show them pay, they show them the thing. It was only in even where we have sitting reps in Lagos State, what is the result of the last election? And my people told me that they will make me know that I'm the political party they know. I scored 35,000 for presidential election. Only in Lagos, nobody had 5,000 or 6,000 from any local government, except at Jeremy Fellon. Remember, I only campaigned for 2 days because I have been in court, courtesy of our party leaders, that we should be dragging the matter to court until a day to election. I have to campaign for one day, and yet the people came out en masse, and they did.
Honorable, please, just 1 minute more.
Yes, please. So what I'm trying to say, they're coming to talk about if PDP is not ready to resort to the constitution of the party, and things should be done accordingly. If we sit and have symposiums 100 times, and we return back without a document, which is the ground norm of that political party, we will be wasting time, because it is only when you obey the law we have internal democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Today, the only people that are speaking in the country are the young people. They are the only one that can make a government to be formed. They are the only one that can make the government to function. So why are we not recognizing them? Let's take the positioning that we're giving to the youth. Let's increase it. Let's drive them more into the party so that the party can become stronger. We have seen what is going on in Nigeria today. The young people are angry. They want to take their country back. And they have demonstrated in the last election. But they have seen that it cannot work. So now, PDP is the only avenue that they can use. They've come together. They play under a political party that was formed along the road. But it didn't work. So now let us encourage these young people and bring them into the party so that they can serve as the formidable force in strengthening our party so that the party can rescue Nigeria back again. Because in as much as there is no PDP, the future of Nigeria is a doom. The party in power today, as we all know, is just an association of inconvenience. People came from different places and just formed this party and, just to rescue power. So there is no plan. Ladies and gentlemen, the most concrete thing that any political party needs to run a country is patriotism. It is lacking today. So we must, for the sake of our generation and the generation coming behind us, we must show ourselves and come together. Bring these young people aboard. Let them own it. Let's restructure the financial system of this party so that we can at least have a country everywhere we go to. I was just in Cairo a few days ago, and I was having a discussion with some businessmen, and they told me, we cannot do business with you because you don't even have a currency. But they're not lying, that is the truth. Our currency does not exist in any international... because today you set an agreement at a time, tomorrow you come back, the figure has changed. So we should be worried about where our country is today. And how do we have seen 8 years of the past regime, and we have seen what is going on now.
Just like my sister has said, democracy is only functional where you have to pay attention to the Constitution. But where we have a party that has thrown aside, let me talk schoolwork now. When we have a party that's thrown aside the syllabus, we're just moving zombie here, zombie there. So we have people like this with potentials, and my gender, like he has questioned me, what does PDP do about women? You have people like this with such story, emotionally drained, financially sapped, and we expect to have internal democracy. It's as good as no. So what do we do, really? We have to all get to the table. I understand that they say politics is a negotiating table where everybody comes to the table if you have, the power to decide who takes what and who takes what. But if we have leaders who understand the potentials of women, both young, both middle age, both old, the full potential of any woman, will understand that we go all the way. We truly go all the way. So to have internal democracy work in PDP, having women participate in it, we really truly have to have the 35% or more affirmative action effective in the PDP. For crying out loud, I came here today and saw Sweba. Sweba worked with me in 2020. From 2020 to the end, till today, Sweba was here and running there, where men are functioning, trying to set this up. What am I trying to say? There are women in the party that are ready to go all the way, who are not saying you must give us position, but who are saying we have something we want to bring to the table. We must not always be clapperboards. We must not always be the one who go and mobilize, but we can be frontliners to pick brains and bring strategy to the forefront. For example, in the last election, I worked as a special assistant to the presidential candidates, and in such short a time, I was able to go around the 6th geopolitical zone, not being sponsored by the party. Sir, you can bear me witness. I wasn't being funded by the party. Now, I did that because I want to be a patriotic PDP member. Back in Cross River State, I've been lured many times in the opposition party. But just like I said when I started, I'm a vocational politician. I go through the books about how politics should work and how I can bring to the fore my own leadership. Now, if I can get it using the internal leadership or the internal democracy of the PDP, I think I will find full satisfaction. So one particular strategy I would like to say, because I'm a solutionist and I'm a realist, if every one of us, we own a part of the party. For example, what's going on here today? I discussed with one of the organizers and I said, are we all out in the media space about what is happening? Are we running YouTube channels? Are we out projecting activities like this? Because we are going to be addressing the issues that the APC is making us face today. But the Nigerians who will vote, they know that we are only out to look out to the party who is addressing issue and who we can perceive will solve our problems. How do we continue to play internal democracy and we are not addressing the issue outwardly? Because we want to be in power. So now, Senator said something earlier on. The APC will leave their fights, come and win, then they can go back to fight. Can we adopt something that is workable? Can we forget about what happened in 2023, what is happening in the internal party, and can we all get to that negotiating table because we want to take up leadership? And how do we take that up? Genuinely, we need to look at the problems that Nigeria is facing. We need to truly tell ourselves, let's not be enclosed in, I want to be a democratic PDP person. Let's be engulfed in, I want to be a democratic Nigerian. What is that problem that we need to solve? How do we solve it? First, we need to start speaking up. I'm always on Twitter. I'm always on online Zoom meetings. I'm always on programs organized by young people talking about Nigeria and cut across all party lines. That is how PDP can get our acts together rather than fighting ourselves. And I also like to just round up by saying this. Our leaders, help us. Our young people are not saying we want to be president, we want to be senator, we want to be this, we want to be that. The little corners that we find ourselves, appreciate us, project us, value us. We will do more. We need to also have the encouragement that we are also in one corner, stakeholders. Not when it's an election, you call us out from, like me, I always come out of my classroom and I run kitty, and I run back. I'm back in the classroom. We have stuff we're doing for ourselves, but we are passionate about where our children will live in, which is Nigeria. And we only have hope with the party PDP. So help us as we also help ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. This was actually